What do we want? Climate justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Climate justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Climate justice. When do we want it? Now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Climate change is not our goal. 5, 6, 7, 8. Climate accountability.
So this time last year was the September 20th strike, which was a global strike where 7,000 people took to the streets of Belfast. This was incredible, but of course, with coronavirus, we can't repeat that. We have had to move a lot of things online. We have always done a lot of things online because Fridays for Future is a global movement, and of course we can't all meet up. So it hasn't changed that much in that respect, but locally it has changed quite a bit.
Well, we can see, the number of people who are here has been affected, and there's far fewer people here because of COVID. And I think that's actually, in a lot of ways, that's a learning moment for us, because look at the change we're currently going through. We need to take this as an opportunity to acknowledge the crisis and build back in a different way. We have a unique opportunity here and we need to take it.
I think people need to realise that the coronavirus crisis, although it is horrible, and of course we stand in solidarity with all of those who've been affected, it's actually just the tip of the iceberg. The climate crisis is so much worse. There will be many, many, many more viruses exasperated by the climate crisis, making them worse.
COVID-19 has taken the lives of hundreds of thousands of people throughout the world. But this coronavirus is not the only infectious disease that has emerged in recent years. There's been Ebola, MERS, SARS, flus that originated in birds and pigs, West Nile virus, and Zika virus.
We are beginning to understand that the more we are putting pressure on nature, the more that is then impacting us.
Well, I think it's pretty clear nature is trying to tell us something here. And frankly, it's been knocking on our door for a while.
I talked to some experts that say if we continue to destroy the environment, future pandemics like these could become more likely.
1 in 24 people die from climate change, air pollution-based climate change, in Belfast every single year. "178 people in Belfast died from air pollution. And in terms of sea level rise, we're an island nation, so it will affect us a lot. This place right here will be underwater by the time I'm 48, so that just gives you a bit of perspective.
We're in a really unique position, and what we've seen here is that our institutions aren't able to cope with COVID crisis, and we can see that they're not going to be able to cope and not going to be able to be resilient to the climate crisis either. So if we're going to build back and build institutions that are resilient and able to cope with climate crisis as well as other health crises like this, then we need to think about what we want to build.
We are sending a message to Edwin Putz as our Environment Minister that he needs to start treating the crisis like a crisis, to listen to the science and act on the science.
But these are significant and complex issues which have long-term consequences, and I don't want to be bounced into rushing through measures.
I don't feel that we're being bounced into anything. These debates and this evidence base has been building for 50 years.
And they want to use language of crisis to generate support for change. But we want to see practical measures that make a real tangible difference, and we want to be sure that we don't rush into schemes that could end up making matters worse. So don't support the motion. I can't support the motion. We shouldn't be using language such as emergency or crisis. Northern Ireland climate change legislation shouldn't be rushed through and forced upon the Assembly without it being properly informed. Because I'm not a politician who gets too hung up about motions and about regulations and all of that. I want to see actions and things which will make tangible differences here in Northern Ireland and beyond.
There's currently an application on the Economies Minister desk around allowing for extraction of petroleum across the north. Would you agree with me that rejecting that application would put those actions in the works?
Well, that's entirely a matter for the people who are looking at that. A 3-month time frame is impossible to achieve. It is ridiculous to ask for it. I'm not interested in waste of time regulations which are a burden to the individuals and a burden to the government to actually implement. I'm interested in actually doing real things and actually reducing the greenhouse gases.
So far, he is completely failing us. we have no climate laws whatsoever, which is completely and utterly abysmal. We, the youth, shouldn't have to clean up his mess, but we are, and we're here, and we're not going to stop protesting until he takes this crisis seriously.
The main plan is we've seen councils and we've seen governments declare climate emergencies. I think what we need to acknowledge is it's not that hard to make a plan to go alongside that climate emergency and to set out how we're going to reach carbon neutral by whether it's 2030 or 2050 or whatever they've declared. And I think we need to demand that there's a plan set out and that they stick to it.
We have been invited to the APG on Climate, which is Zoom meetings which have politicians of every political party and they discuss the climate. So there has been some political support as a result of the September 20th global strike. We got a climate emergency declared. However, these are just two words, like they mean nothing. They're so far not acting as if they're in an emergency. And so in terms of political support, it's nice, but it's not achieving anything. We haven't got any concrete action. Emissions are still rising, and therefore it's not good enough.
Keep our carbon in the soil. No more coal, no more oil. Keep our carbon in the soil. No more coal, no more oil. Keep our carbon in the soil. No more coal, no more oil. Keep our carbon in